Welcome to a very special episode of God 101. I'm your host, Julie Chen. I'm here with not one, but two-time NBA champion, Lamar, fellow brother from Queens, Odom.
Yes, ma'am. How are you doing today?
How are you doing? Because you've only been out in the real world less than 24 hours since getting
Yeah,
married.
I'm okay. I think I'm just decompressing, maybe physically and emotionally, mostly emotionally. Um, just trying to get myself centered and ready back to normalcy as quick as possible. Really.
I do wish you Godspeed with that. And
Yeah.
being that you and I were just talking before we started recording, that you said it's good to know the word. We are both Jesus people.
Yeah.
And, the name of this show is God 101. So we are going to talk about Big Brother, but first, God, because I think you and I both know, and I think our viewers here know,
Yeah.
God has to come first in your life. Would you
Oh,
agree?
yeah. I will say God, sobriety, and my kids run neck and neck because without me being sober, I can't be a good father, and vice versa.
I want to talk to you first and foremost about your faith. And I'm curious to know, did you grow up knowing the Lord? And what role did faith play in your growing up years?
Well, my grandmother, who raised me and my whole family, we were big on going to Dunton Presbyterian Church in South Jamaica, Queens every Sunday. They even named the Sunday school program after my grandmother. She was really dedicated to God, so dedicated that God took her on her 80th birthday, like with no pain and no suffering. Had her favorite meal that day and passed away in her sleep.
Wow, she
So I come,
sounds like that's a perfect way to go back home.
yeah, so I come from a really spiritual family, spiritual upbringing, and I was taught always to have faith. And faith was the only thing that um, brought me out of that terrible accident in Nevada.
Was that terrible accident in Nevada a reawakening, a rebirth? I like to call it a resurrection because I feel like you really were brought back and resurrected and given a new lease on life, a new outlook on life. How do you describe that time?
Um, it would really confuse me, when it first happened because I wasn't, aware how I got there. Because I didn't do drugs that night. I guess somebody just was that treacherous to use me against me, and it almost took my life. But I'm a fighter and a strong believer, even before the accident. I was taught to always have faith, and when I woke up, they told me, Julia, possibility I wouldn't be able to walk and talk again. Um, when I woke up, I couldn't walk or talk. So faith and God was the only thing that put me through that at that time.
How long were you not conscious when you woke up? You had been,
I think for a little bit more than 3 days,
and
and
then when you did wake up and they told you you may never walk or talk again, how long until you did talk again?
well,
And
when they told me, it kind of like it went in one ear and went out the other. You ever had your mother say, "Oh, you better do that"? It went in because there's no way I can see myself, you know, just that totally down and out. Especially when I know I didn't do anything, so I didn't have a guilty conscience. So it was easy for me to have faith in God that He was gonna just heal me, and He healed me like miraculously. I almost started to heal. Um, too fast as far as my physical rehabilitation is concerned, and I still think sometimes that I should have um, finished out my MIC2, my cognitive therapy all the way, because sometimes I can feel it not as strong. So this why this was good. This game was like a mental exercise to the 10,000.
Big brother.
Yeah, yeah, it really put me in stressful situations.
Yeah, just I'm feeling I have to share with you that maybe it's not too late to um, pick up where you left off from in your cognitive uh,
Yeah,
rehab.
because 100%, you're right. Because I'm trying to be my best at all times. Had a good friend that said, um, "Rest in the end, not in the middle." So I think I should, follow that a little bit.
Um, you talk about your healing being, you use the word miraculous.
Hmm.
Were you praying during that time?
Um, yeah, praying in my heart all the time, um, knowing that Jesus will hear those prayers. Um, it was in a tough spot, especially having on your mind, you know, how did it happen and why did it happen. I'm show you something. When I woke up from the you see that?
Yeah, what is that?
That's from when I woke up. I started just to pull all the tubes and everything out of my nose and my mouth from in the panic. Not knowing from shock, really.
That didn't make your doctors happy.
No, no, I couldn't have. It couldn't have. But that's just my just a scar that I wear with pride.
Say again?
It's a scar that I wear with pride.
Ah, tell me why. What does it say to you?
Um, fight, fighter. So you're gonna have to be a strong force to try to stop God's plan. Really.
Oh, I don't think there's anything that stop. Well, no, we get in our own way sometime. That's true.
Yeah. And I know if I just stay the course, then he'll take care of me.
As a born again Christian myself, I have learned in this early walk with Christ, I'm just about 2 years in,
Hmm.
um, God either ordains it or allows it,
Hmm.
all to feed his kingdom agenda.
Hmm.
What, how do you categorize what happened to you as something that God allowed to give you a wake up call, or
Um. Yeah, I
I
don't know if
felt like
it
it was
was.
an attack from the enemy, by the way, because I never
Yeah.
heard that, you didn't do drugs that night, but someone who I think that was the enemy
Yeah.
trying to pull you down.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because I got jokes to myself that I use about that night that I'm not going to use right here. But yeah, that's a beautiful way to be woke up. Um, and if that doesn't wake you up, then I don't know what will. And I just think that he saved me because he knew that I was, innocent in the stance of, not using any drugs. And I know he wants me to finish what I have to finish with my family, with both sides of my family. And then now I'm just trying to figure out, what, when, Lord, just point me in the right direction, and I'll walk it, you know, and I won't be afraid to walk it.
Well, have no fear. Since you know the Lord, easier
Mhm.
said than done.
Yeah, I mean, we're
This-
always gonna go through tests.
You're always going to go to,
Through tests, it's not gonna stop.
oh. That is for sure. Just because we believe in the Lord doesn't mean it's smooth sailing. That's another
No.
thing I've learned. What do you mean both sides of your family? What are the two sides of your family?
Well, my mother's side and my father's side.
Ah,
My,
okay.
my father was from Brooklyn, Williamsburg, Brooklyn. My mother and my father, St. Paul's family is from Queens.
I heard you talk about losing your mom when you were 12.
Yeah, yeah,
My son is 12, so I kind of took your story and I put it through
yeah.
the lens.
Imagine, right? Yeah.
I
But I
really
had a really strong grandmother who, became my mother instantaneously, and you know, I try to look at the good, take the crazy situations and make good of it. And I was blessed enough to have two mothers, and one was my best friend for a period of time that she was here, and then the other one was 40 or 50 years older than me. So I was just got some incredible lessons all the time from a lady who was God fearing, was born at a time where black people couldn't use the same bathroom, and she always told us not to judge, because of a race or a gender. Always told us just to show love. Put the shoe on the other foot.
well, that is so beautiful, and I now feel as if I understand you more
Mhm.
as a person, and I understand you more in terms of being a former Big Brother house guest,
Yeah.
which isn't easy.
No. No. Big Brother. Being in a house, I think it was one of the toughest things I've ever done in my life. Um,
Why?
uh, just the mental strain, that it puts on you. I didn't, as a celebrity, or I mean, not a celebrity, or looked at as a celebrity, or I don't, just walk into stressful situations. And my most important years, I played in NBA and won two championships. That play for an offense that teaches you how to effectively move away from pressure situations. So they made everybody uneasy for dealing with each other for daggone year a month. Sometimes like the sound of somebody's voice could like irk you. That's when you know it was like, okay, you got to dig in and just look yourself in the mirror and just tell yourself that you're stronger than you're feeling at the moment, because we all had some hard times.
Did you pray when you were in the house?
Always, always,
May I ask
always. So
what?
I always say prayers to myself, whether it's just asking for strength, for guidance, because you don't have to be on your knees um, in a prayer position to just talk to the Lord for a split second. You can pray anywhere at any given time.
Did knowing the Lord help you weather being in the Big Brother house?
Oh yeah, 100%. Because there was some times that I had to really, really dig in because it's a mental challenge, it's a mental stretch. It takes you there, and those that were remaining on the cast, the last final five, those are like my brothers and sisters forever, no matter what, just because what we went through in the house.
Does that surprise you?
No, because I know people and I know how things that we go through affect us. It might affect us different, but we all got that in common. I don't think we'll ever be able to let that go.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like hearing that. I like hearing the wisdom behind that, that you're not letting any foolishness get in the way of the good times that you did share.
No, yeah, it was definitely some good times.
Have you
100.
watched anything or read anything on the internet since getting out of the house last night?
Um, yeah, I felt bad about some of the stuff for for Todrick. I feel
Like
like
what?
I feel like they're giving him a hard time. I think he might just be misunderstood, and I think on that platform, for someone that can be as dramatic as he can be, I think it's easy for people to misunderstand him.
It's nice to hear a little understanding and grace and forgiveness in this graceless age I think we're living in. So thank you for saying that on his behalf.
Oh, no problem.
You know, who's anyone to judge anyone else?
Yeah, no, definitely not me.
Um, I don't want you to reveal who you're voting for because we're going to vote live tomorrow night.
Yeah,
Um, and you still have to see who the final two are, and you still have to hear uh, their presentation to the jury as to why
yeah.
they feel they deserve your vote. That being said, uh, is there anything about the whole experience in the Big Brother house you want to get off your chest or share with people who watched you? Like, why did you do it?
I guess just to do it. Really, I don't know. I mean, during the pandemic, honestly, if somebody wants to pay you the amount of money that they pay us to show face, and some people, can't find a way to rub $2 together during this pandemic, so that was a blessing in itself. So I just tried to receive the blessing and answer the blessing.
When we got off the air last night, um, I shared something that we have in common
Hmm.
about um, your wedding night and the
Oh
birthday,
yeah, and where you live at? Yeah, that was crazy.
which is so crazy.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something else when we get off the air about that because I
Mhm.
want to answer a question you asked me. Um, I don't know if you've been reading other stuff on the internet, but there are people in, I feel like my age group,
Mhm.
that remember when, you did marry Khloe and
Yeah.
a hopeless romantic is like, "Oh," I don't keep up with them, but I'm like, "Oh, wouldn't it be so nice if they got back together?" But I feel like you're on a journey where number 1, you just want to apologize. Like, why
Well,
do you want to see Khloe?
I just want to have a chance to be cordial with her. That's really it. Um, like I said, it'd be a blessing just to be in her presence. But I mean, we got married after 30 days. Really, like a lot of weight, and a lot of emotion um, tied to that. And then when I was down, down and out, this lady she was there for me, helping wipe my backside. So, um, even if it's just to say thank you, I don't think I can give her anything, or she don't want or ask for anything. Um, but I understand that she's in a relationship, so I have to kind of respect that. But I don't want anything else from her, just but to be her friend, honestly.
I pray she gives you the chance for you to say thank you and anything else you want to get off your chest. So I do pray for that.
Thank
Uh,
you.
yeah, it's nice to see, and I just appreciate your honesty.
Yeah.
Um, is there anything you want to promote before we goodnight the show? Talk about?
No, I just hope everybody come healthy and happy, and probably be a couple of people disappointed or mad at each other, but I think it's important for us to move forward.
Amen to that.
Yeah,
Lamar Odom, thank you so much for
usually.
your your light and your time. Thank you for being with us on God 101.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.